Clarkson Unfiltered, Chaos, Cows, and Comebacks. Jeremy Clarkson is trending due to a series of high-profile personal and professional events. He recently caused controversy by harshly criticizing the UK's National Health Service, NHS, calling it a creaking old monster, and was ironically rushed to hospital just hours after the column was published. On his diddly squat farm, he's facing serious setbacks, including a bovine tuberculosis outbreak that led to the culling of a pregnant cow, and what he describes as a potentially catastrophic harvest due to poor weather. Clarkson also revealed that filming for Season 5 of Clarkson's Farm is wrapped, but hinted it could be the last if he feels there's no new story to tell. Meanwhile, his longtime collaboration with Richard Hammond and James May has officially ended, and he sparked more debate by suggesting he may leave the UK due to frustrations with its future. Now, whether you love him, hate him, or just watch him yell at tractors on Clarkson's farm, you cannot deny the man is endlessly entertaining. And oh boy, he's had quite the year. Hospitals, politics, puppies, and of course more drama than a soap opera crossover. So grab a cup of Hawkstone Lager, responsibly of course, settle in, and let's unpack everything Clarkson, his latest health scare, farm disasters, new book, and even a possible run for Parliament. Yeah, you heard that right. Jeremy Clarkson might become MP Jeremy Clarkson. God help us all. Clarkson in crisis, the hospital scare. All right, let's start with the big one. The hospital trip that had fans freaking out earlier this month. On October 5th, 2025, Clarkson was rushed to an NHS hospital after feeling, as he put it, very poorly. Now, when Jeremy Clarkson says poorly, you just know it was bad because this is the same man who's been kicked by cows, flipped cars, and survived Hammond's driving. He later praised the hospital staff. Shocker, right? Saying they were brilliant and fast. But in true Clarkson fashion, he also took the opportunity to roast the NHS management system in his Sunday Times column. Classic move. Gratitude with a side of grumpy politics. Thankfully, he's fine now, alive, well, and already back to shouting at sheep. But this whole episode reminded fans that the guy did have heart surgery in 2024. So yeah, maybe the farm life isn't quite as peaceful as he thought when he left Top Gear. Clarkson's Farm, Season 5 Misery and Madness. Now let's talk about Clarkson's Farm, aka Britain's most chaotic reality show. Season 5 just wrapped filming, and by the sound of it, it was pure misery. He described it as months of hell thanks to a bovine TB outbreak, scorching heat, and having to cull his cows. And honestly, for someone who calls tractors beasts of burden, that's saying something. But in between the disaster, there were glimmers of hope. Caleb Cooper, the nation's favorite farm boss, stuck by Clarkson through it all. That duo is unstoppable. It's like Laurel and Hardy, but with more mud and swearing. Season 5 will dive deep into TB restrictions, loss, and how farming actually works under pressure, not just TV farming. Expect tears, chaos, and probably Clarkson calling a government minister an idiot. And if that's not enough drama for you, he also had to deal with a cyber attack on his pub. Yep, the Farmer's Dog Pub in Oxfordshire got hit for £27,000. Someone out there decided to hack Clarkson's pub. That's a bold move, like trying to milk a bull. Books, pubs, and puppies, the softer side of Clarkson. Despite the chaos, Clarkson somehow found time to finish his new book, Diddly Squat, The Farmer's Dog, which hit shelves on October 23rd, 2025. And no, it's not just about dogs. The title's a nod to his pub, The Farmer's Dog, and of course, Arya, his beloved dog who gave birth to puppies back in July. Fun fact, Clarkson actually skipped the Euro 2024 football final to help Arya give birth. That's either love or pure fear of being responsible for dead puppies. Either way, the internet loved it. One of the pups was named Margary, which, knowing Clarkson, is probably a joke about Game of Thrones and beer. So yeah, between farm drama, pub nightmares, and puppy love, Jeremy's life could easily be a Netflix sitcom by now. Clarkson 101, a quick life recap. Now, before we go deeper into his current ventures, let's rewind a bit. Jeremy Charles Robert Clarkson, born April 11th, 1960, in Doncaster, South Yorkshire. His parents, Shirley and Edward, were teachers turned toy tycoons. They literally made a fortune selling Paddington Bear dolls. Jeremy himself? Kicked out of Repton School for bad behavior. Shocking, I know. He started as a local journalist before becoming the face of Top Gear. The first run was 1988 to 2002, then rebooted in 2002 with Hammond and May, the golden trio of car chaos. Then came the infamous 2015 steak incident, a punch, a firing, and the birth of the Grand Tour. From BBC to Amazon, Clarkson reinvented himself as a rebel farmer, columnist, pub owner, and now maybe politician. Basically, if it involves controversy, he's there. He's funny, offensive, and often politically incorrect. The man says what most people only tweet in drafts. And yet, that's exactly why fans adore him. Clarkson's fortune, from supercars to cows. Let's talk money, because, let's face it, we're all a bit nosy. Jeremy Clarkson's net worth, as of 2025, around 60 million pounds. That's about $78 million. Here's how he makes it. The Grand Tour, for £0.2 million per series. Clarkson's farm, millions more in royalties and merchandise. The Sun and Sunday Times, about £500,000 a year just from columns. Public speeches, £25,000 a pop. Imagine being paid that much just to rant for an hour. What a dream. Then there's his business empire, Hawkstone Lager and Cider, which made £21.3 million in sales this year, and Diddley Squat Farm Shop, which sells everything from honey to hoodies. But not everything's been profit. The TB outbreak, farming losses, and the pub hack have hit him hard. Still, knowing Clarkson, he probably laughed, called someone an idiot, and kept going. The Clarkson clan, love, loss, and puppies. Let's peek inside the Clarkson family tree. And don't worry, it's not as messy as some celebrity ones. Clarkson's been married twice. Alexander James in the 80s, Blink, and You Missed It, and Frances Kane from 1993 to 2014. They had 3 kids together. Emily Clarkson, 30, author, podcaster, and professional daughter who often publicly disagrees with dad. She's married to Alex Andrew and has 1 son, Arlo, with another baby on the way. Finlo Hamish Clarkson, 28, super private, possibly in finance. Katia Clarkson, 24, also private. Clarkson's now with Lisa Hogan, his longtime partner and co-star on Clarkson's Farm. They've been together since 2017, and she's a total powerhouse, running the farm shop, managing chaos, and occasionally telling Jeremy off on camera. No wedding bells yet, but honestly, they're basically married already, just with more tractors involved. And of course, there's the extended family, Arya the dog and her adorable puppies, plus grandkids. Clarkson actually calls himself a surprisingly soft granddad. You love to see it. The shows must go on. Or do they? Here's what's going on in Clarkson's TV universe right now. Clarkson's Farm Season 5 is in post-production, full of TB drama and environmental headaches. The Not Very Grand Tour dropped in April 2025, basically a nostalgia clip show using old footage of Clarkson, Hammond, and May. Fans call it comfort TV, and honestly, same. He's officially done hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. His final season ended in 2024. And nope, there's no Top Gear revival. The BBC's done. The trio's moved on. So right now, he's focusing on farming, writing, and occasionally poking fun at politicians. Speaking of which, Clarkson for Parliament. You heard me right. Yes, Jeremy Clarkson has teased running for Parliament. Specifically, against Labour MP Ed Miliband in Doncaster North. Now, if that actually happens, I think we all need popcorn, because Clarkson versus Miliband would be the most entertaining political battle in British history. He's got backing from local Tories in Oxfordshire, and Miliband's response was pretty chill, basically saying, "Good luck with the cows, mate." But Clarkson's made no secret of his political stance. He's a longtime Tory voter, very anti-woke, skeptical about net zero, and loves a good rant about government bureaucracy. Could he win? Honestly, maybe. He's got money, fame, and a ton of people who'd vote for him just to see chaos unfold. But so far, it's all talk. Still, knowing Clarkson, Even the idea of running was probably worth the headlines. Still writing, still stirring. Clarkson may have left the BBC, but he's never stopped writing. He's still doing weekly columns for The Sun and the Sunday Times, where he manages to offend at least 3 different groups of people every week, and still somehow get paid $500,000 a year. His latest piece? About the NHS. And before that, about climate activists, politicians, and occasionally his own cows. His writing's still sharp, funny, and full of that grumpy uncle at the pub energy. You can disagree with every word, but you'll still read it, because it's Clarkson. Clarkson Online, the social media circus. Clarkson's social media game is strong, and honestly, better than most influencers. On X, formerly Twitter, he's got nearly 8 million followers. His posts pull in tens of thousands of likes, and when he teased his MP run, 46,000 likes. Boom. Instagram, even bigger, 9.5 million followers. His puppy posts get more engagement than half of Hollywood. He's less active on Facebook, probably too busy yelling at cows to update status updates. But one thing never changes, his bio. It reads, "I'm a still small voice of calm and reason," which is possibly the funniest lie on the internet. The Clarkson legacy, family fame, and feuds. Let's circle back to his daughter, Emily Clarkson. Emily's built a pretty impressive career of her own. Author of Can I Speak to Someone in Charge? Co-host of the podcast Should I Delete That? And a vocal feminist who's not afraid to challenge her dad publicly. When Jeremy made those controversial comments about Meghan Markle, Emily openly called him out. And instead of starting World War III at the dinner table, Clarkson actually admitted he'd gone too far. Growth. Lisa Hogan's gained her own fan base thanks to Clarkson's farm, but she's not chasing fame. She's just busy keeping Jeremy alive and the cows fed. The rest of the family keeps a low profile. His parents are remembered fondly as entrepreneurs, not celebrities, but successful and clever. So what's Clarkson up to now? Right now, he's taking a bit of a breather. Well, as much as Clarkson ever can. He's overseeing farm recovery after the TB crisis, promoting his new book, managing the pub, post-cyber attack cleanup, and expanding Hawkstone Lager into 2,000+ pubs across the UK. Between that and being a granddad, he's basically living his best grumpy old man life. And if you think he's slowing down, think again. This man could retire tomorrow, but he won't. He'll keep farming, ranting, and writing until someone physically drags him off the tractor. Here's the thing about Jeremy Clarkson. Love him or loathe him, he's authentic. He's loud, opinionated, flawed, hilarious, and occasionally a walking PR disaster. But he's also passionate, hardworking, and, in his own way, deeply human. He turned a car show into global entertainment, a farm into a phenomenon, and even a pub into a national talking point. At 65, most people would be winding down. Clarkson? He's still picking fights with the weather and politicians. So yeah, hospital scares, puppy births, political teases, it's all part of the Clarkson circus. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Alright, that's our deep dive into Clarkson Unfiltered, chaos, cows, and comebacks. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow, share, and drop a review, preferably one less angry than Jeremy's rants. I'm your host, signing off. And remember, life's too short not to laugh at the madness, especially when it's served with a side of Clarkson. See you next time.